Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Today is Tuesday, May 9th, and it showed up today, the DJI Mavic 3 Pro. Let's quit messing around. Let me get this guy out of the box and I'll show it to you. Hey, so everybody that wants to see how it's packed, let me open it up here. It's just a flip open box, and I undid the seal already. Well, that shows us a lot, doesn't it? So on the top, this was sitting on the top, and this is a box full of, I'm sure, controller and accessories, etc. And the drone sits in there just like that. So let me pull everything out and I'll show it to you. So in case you're interested how everything goes in the box, so you got the controller on this side, and you have charge block and cables, etc. on the other. Okay, so what do you get? I'll start with the little stuff. You get a couple of pairs of props, one clockwise, one counterclockwise. You probably should order extra. I already have extra. You know, hopefully you don't need them, but it'd be good. It's good to have them on hand. And then obviously you always get the documentation in a bag. It's so small. Just look at the PDF copy on your computer. You're going to have much better luck. So I just got the basic version with a single battery. Comes with the 65-watt charger, and of course you get the USB-A to USB-C cable, and that enables you to charge the DJI RC. Those of us with the Mini 3 Pro, well, you could order it with the Mini 3 Pro. I did, so I'm very familiar with this. However, I will not be flying this drone with this controller because I've got the DJI RC Pro, so I'll pair it with the RC Pro first thing. But so one of the things I noticed is they did give you an extra pair of gimbal sticks, which is a good thing. Hey, okay, here's the big dog right here, the DJI Mavic 3 Pro. I'm looking at it, a little bit different design to the hood on the front. I know that's a little bit controversial. Some people like it, some people don't. I liked it on the Mavic 3. I see this one's a little different design, and one of the things I noticed right off the bat is it's got a little pull strap here for the buckle connection, so that's good. So let's take that off right now, pull it out, and yeah, you just pull this guy straight off, and boy, there's that big dog right there. Man, look at the size of that camera and gimbal. That is really something. So yeah, let's unfold it, see how it looks. Boom, there it is. The get out of the way here so you can see it. Hold it up. Yeah, it's a good sized drone, especially, you know, I've been flying the Avata lately, and yeah, this is quite a bit bigger and quite a bit heftier. So okay, I'm right now I'm going to take off a bunch of stickers and decals and so forth, and tomorrow, what my plan is, tomorrow I am going to get this guy out at the Snake River Canyon. I will fire it up to do firmware updates, etc., but that's it. I'm not going to take off, not going to do anything here near my house. I'm going to take it out to the canyon, and the first time this guy lifts off the ground, we'll be out at the Snake River Canyon, and we will send it out over the edge, and I expect some good things from this guy. So let's get out to the canyon. Hey, look what I have right here. I've got the DJI Mavic 3 Pro with those 3 big lenses on there. Some people call it the big schnoz. Some people say it looks like Darth Vader. For me, I kind of think it looks like in the War of the Worlds when the aliens would come in with their 3-eyed probe that they'd send around. It's I will say this, it is a badass looking drone. How about that? I'm really anxious to try this guy out. We're going to try out all 3 lenses and see if we can get some of that compression that you get as you use a telephoto. You bring the background in a little closer. You're not going to be able to see it probably on this big wide angle lens on the Action 2, but right behind us back there is the Swan Falls Dam. So we'll go look at that and try out the 3 lenses. And then I'll point, the Oahe Mountains are off to my left over here, and we'll go look at them, and we'll try the 3 lenses on the Oahe Mountains and show you how it brings the background in as well. And that's going to be about what we want to do with this flight. I'll get down low in the canyon and we'll get down on the water and look around there. It's kind of cool because I'm right on the edge here. I can get a straight shot at the drone easy enough and get that good solid connection. So, and then whatever else happens. Again, the only thing I want you to know, the only thing I've done with this drone is I fired it up to update firmware. So when I connected it, it did not ask for any updates. In fact, it said firmware was up to date. So we'll see what happens when I fire it up here. It never fails when you get out into the field. It says, oh, you got a firmware update. So you never know. We'll see. And if that happens, that happens. But enough of that jibber jabber. Let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. So just as I told you, I get out in the field and the drone asks for a firmware update. This is version V01.01.0100. It's the same one I think I did on my other Mavic 3 a few weeks ago. I don't know, I'm looking, I don't see a date here, but it's the one that added the functionality for D-Log M color mode for the Hasselblad camera and the medium tele. Added shooting at 48 megapixel resolution on the medium tele camera, and then added support for DJI goggles, Integra, Motion 2, etc. I do have the goggles and the Integra goggles and the Motion 2. I may try it sometime with this drone. With 360 obstacle avoidance, hey, you know, how much trouble can you get in? But anyway, this will take a few minutes for update and it'll eat up some battery power, but I'll be back when it's all done. Hey, okay, we're at about 90% on the update now. It never fails. That took, I don't know, probably 10 minutes or so. I hear the drone restarting behind me here. So we should be ready to go here in a second, but I also wanted to mention that I did, last night when I was messing around with it, it did update the FlySafe database, of course, but it's weird. I tried a couple times to update firmware, you know, shut everything down, fire it back up, and I was using the RC and using hotspotting it to my phone for data. However, it just didn't, yeah, now it says it's done, so we're good to go. And I'll shut everything down and restart it here. But I also want to point out that I am using the RC Pro. The kit that I bought was with the DJI RC, but I'm not going to use that. I've got the RC Pro, and of course that's what I want to use with the Mavic 3 Pro, of course. So let me cycle everything, and now we'll get this bird in the air. Okay, we're all fired up here. Let me start a screen recording real quick. And that is very easy to do on the RC Pro. And there's a little counter. You're not going to be able to see it on the screen recording, but I'm kind of moving it up out of the way. And I see I don't have a histogram on the screen, so let's mess around here a little bit. Let's check out our safety menu. By the way, we have 27 satellites. We're down to 90% battery because of all the messing around I did. That's okay. It's not going to hurt us. This thing's got plenty of flight time. So I want the obstacle avoidance on bypass, and I'm leaving it on normal. I don't need it on nifty. The radar map, that's when it tells you if it's close to something on the screen. Advanced return to home, optimal, of course, but we don't need that RTH set nearly that high. I'm going to move it down to about, I will leave it at 35. That's probably even higher than I really need. And we'll talk more about return to home a little bit later. It's not asking for any calibrations. And by the way, this is out of the box. It's not asking for compass or IMU calibrations. I'm going to do neither. It's not asking for them. I've never done them. First flight. And battery, I'm sure we're going to be good, but we'll look at that. Yeah. And this is the first charge on this battery. Says 0 cycle count. So there you go. And this is a recommended zone here. So let's go into camera here. JPEG, you know, for pictures, we're looking at photo right now. And 4.3, 20 megapixel histogram. That's what I was looking for. We're going to turn that guy on. And I want all my grid lines. And yeah, we've got all those on. White balance on auto. We are saving to the SD card. I use a Samsung I'm trying to remember what they call it, Evo Pro or something like that SD card. It's got a really high write speed. Let's format that while we're at it. Let's let the, maybe try that one more time, format. And I didn't see, I clicked the button, but it didn't tell me. There we go. SD card, and we're going to format. And it should tell us successful. I didn't see any message there, but we should be okay. So I think that's about it. We can look at the controls here to see. Again, this is the first flight, so yeah, the gimbal's in follow mode. Yeah, I mean, I don't, and we're going to be in metric, so as I always do. So let's get out of there, and I don't see any reason why we can't take off. We're going to switch to video mode on the left-hand side of the, or right-hand side of the screen there. And I'm going to go into video. And I'm wondering if I need to be in Explorer mode. I'm going to click on Explorer because I'm not sure if yeah, so that's so you can get to the 28 by zoom. So that's why we want to do that. And video, excuse me. Video and Explorer. And 4K, I'm just going to leave it in 30 frames per second. We could shoot in 60, but I believe for Explorer mode, I have to be in 30. I can't remember for certain, but we're just going to leave it there. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, nothing else to do here, but click that recording button, and let's go ahead and take off. Let's do an auto takeoff, and we'll do that on the app. And I'm going to move my histogram over here a little bit. There we go, on the app. Maybe takeoff. First takeoff of my Mavic 3 Pro. And it recorded the whole point. We're going to go up about 7 meters straight up. Well, we overshot it a little bit, but that gives the drone a look at its home point. And yeah, nothing else to do but take it out here and fly it now. We'll see if we get a precision landing when we come back. Look at that perfectly flat horizon. And again, we are in, make sure I'm in the right mode. Yeah, I'm in normal mode here. My switch was in sport mode, but the drone would always start in normal mode no matter where you have that switch. So we need to do our droney. So let's turn it around, bring it back down here, and bring it into the camera here for you to take a look at this bad boy. And to do that, of course, I'm going to have to turn off obstacle avoidance. So let's turn obstacle avoidance off here for a second, off. And then let's bring this guy in so you can have a look at it. Jack it back and forth, and you can see that big old gimbal moving around. Let's move it back, and you'll see it. You'll see the gimbal drop. And as I tilt forward, you'll see the gimbal look up. And yeah, that's how it works. Okay, I am going to put obstacle avoidance back on in bypass mode. And I'm going to drop that camera down a little bit. Man, that gimbal is huge. It's weird looking at that. And reversing up now. You know what? I don't need to drop the camera that far because we're not going to go that high in the straight up. So reverse and up now. And I see I kind of cross-coupled there a little bit, but we're doing okay. That's about as high as we need to go. We're just full reverse now. And you can see where I'm standing right on the edge of the canyon. This is really something. When I pulled up here a little bit ago, there was a guy here with his wife, and he had his 22 rifle, and he was plinking around a little bit. But at any rate, there is the canyon, and this is looking just about due west. And let me pick up that camera just a little bit. And you can see the mountains off in the distance. We'll try that telephoto out in a second. And I'm looking here. I see my telephoto buttons the 3x and the 7x disappeared. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I thought I could just hit those buttons, so maybe they don't, maybe they don't while you're recording, maybe they don't show. So I don't know. We'll worry about that later. Let's get out here over the canyon a little bit. And off in the distance there you see Swan Falls Dam, and we're going to head that way. And as a matter of fact, let's take the opportunity here. I am going to slow down and stop for a second. I'm going to put it in sport mode, and let's just see how fast this guy will go, huh? Right off the bat. Let's kick her in gear, and we'll see if we get any gimbal drop. That big old gimbal, we're doing 19 meters, 20 meters per second, 25, almost, yeah, 20.9. Yeah, we hit 21 there for a second. So that is nearly 50 miles an hour. That's moving right along. So we're cruising right upriver right now. But let's get up here a ways, and then we'll mess around with those telephoto lenses a little bit. And in fact, one of the things I like to do is get closer to the edge, because there's just a lot more cool stuff often to look at on the edge of the canyon. It can be pretty dramatic. I'm raising in altitude just a little bit, and as soon as we get over here, we'll look back towards the river, the Snake River. But just kind of to remind you, I don't know anybody that hasn't seen my channel. I've talked about the Snake River Canyon before. This was created, well, what you see along the cliffs here is a series of lava flows. And this canyon itself was created, and I'll stop for a second. We're coming up on dedication point here. I'm going to slow down and drop the camera as we go. Yeah, no, maybe I'm not, no, that's not what I thought I was coming up on there, folks. In fact, evidently, I may have already passed it, so, but let's keep going here. Yeah, no, I'm not even to it yet. I was thinking I was at dedication point there, but kind of lost my bearings there for just a second. We'll keep going here. You know, there's this trail right along the canyon that people hike down all the time. It's so cool in sport mode to be going, you know, this fast with this drone, and you know, have such great signal and great control. And now we're coming up on dedication point here, and we'll slow down, and we'll drop that camera down as we get to it. That's not it either. And I'm struggling here, guys. I fly here all the time, and it's a shame that I couldn't tell you that. Now here's dedication point right up here, and I'm going to grab some altitude, because if there's people there messing around, I don't want to bother them. So dedication point, this is often where I fly from. You can just come out here, and you know, there's that little bench you see right there. Often I'll set up by that bench and just fly right from there. I am looking to see, am I missing anybody by the canyon here? Is that somebody right there? I'm not sure. I'll look at it when I see the SD card. Yeah, there's something there on the edge. Oh no, that's just one of the signs. Okay, doesn't look like there's anybody there. So let's go on out. Anybody that also watches my channel knows that out here there is a well, it's kind of a compass that was used back in the early days of airmail, right here on this spot right here. And let's take a look at that real quick. We got the perfect drone for looking at that. I'm gonna ease around here, and let's see what this says now. I'm trying to do an orbit in sport mode here. And let's look down here, and yeah, let's see, there's more writing down there. I'm going to get down and take a look at it. We could use the zoom, right? So this hasn't changed. It says, I love you, Edie Wells, although that E, somebody's messed around with that E in Wells. And then I see up above it says Foxy Roxy. So yeah, who knows what that's all about. Anyway, let's move on back out over the canyon. Just wanted to take a quick look at that. And we're gonna get some zoom of the Swan Falls Dam. Try out these cameras on this bad boy. And so I'm kind of full sideways over the canyon right now. And when we come back, we're at 63% battery, so we are in great shape. When we come back, we'll get lower into the canyon. We'll go well into negative altitude. So right there, you can see we're just going to hover here for a second. I'm going to go back into normal mode. You can see the dam off in the distance, and I'm going to kind of center up on it here. And I'm going to click on the 1X and see if that brings up, yeah. Okay, yeah, so I clicked on that, and then it brought in the 3X. So we went to the 3X camera there, and boy, you can really see that. I'm going to tap to focus to make sure we're in focus. Yeah, and that did actually focus it a little bit better. My friend Lauren Donauer reminded me that to always tap to focus on the tele lenses. So we should click it one more time, and it should get us into 7x. And let's look at the telephoto compression. There's those houses behind the dam. Let's see how it brings those in, and see how it brings the dam in. So one more time. Whoop. I just want to tap it. And there's 7x, and I'm going to tap to focus. And then look what it did for the background, how it brings those cliffs in and brings those houses in. And man, we get such a good look at the dam. Holy cow, that is crazy. And I have an aircraft behind me. Oh, he's way up there. I got eyeballs on him almost immediately. What I always tell people is, you know, your ears are I think one of your best ways to know when you have manned aircraft around. And I immediately looked up, and there he was. So, okay, so let's go back to 1x, and this will be dramatic. Oh, that's 14x. So I tapped it again, and now it's just cropping in on that 7x. So I thought it would go back to 1x. So we should tap it again. We're in Explore mode. I'm going to drop the camera down here, and I'm going to move over a little bit so we can see those houses behind the power station there. Let's click it one more time, and it should go to 28. Yeah, there's 28. And boy, look how that brings everything close together. And I'm going to tap to focus again and see what that does. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so now I should be able to tap it again, and we'll get back to 1x. And there we are, 1x. So that's how far away we are. And I'm going to tap to focus again, make sure we're in good focus. So that's all three of those cameras. Yeah, that's part of the goodness of this drone. Everything that the Mavic 3 had and more. So we've got the Oahe Mountains off in the distance here. Let's move to this side of the canyon where we're closer, and let's see if we can bring those mountains in a little bit. See what that does. So you got these cliffs right in front of us. You see the Oahes off in the distance. And my friend Ted Bowman, Dr. B, on Drone Nation the other night corrected me, and he's exactly right. Oahe sounds like Hawaii when you say the Oahe Mountains. Well, there's a reason for that. A lot of the miners up in Silver City were Hawaiian, and that's how the mountains got named the Oahe Mountains. Okay, let's click that one more time. We'll go to 3x. And holy cow, does that bring things in, doesn't it? Okay, well, I focused there, but look at how that brings in the, I'm going to click I'm going to focus on the mountains there so those come in good and clear. And this will be interesting now to go to 7 by. Let's click on 7 by. Whoops, one more time. There's 7 by, and let me pick up the camera. And look at how much that brings those mountains in. And I tapped on them to focus, so we got good focus. That really brings those mountains in, doesn't it? That is a sight to behold. So now I can also zoom back out with the zoom. Well, if you want me to, let's go ahead and cycle through 14 and 28. What the heck, we might as well. And by the way, and remember, that's just cropping in on that 7 by sensor. So there's 14 by. And yeah, it looks like we got some irrigation going on out there. Let's pick that up. We can really see it. And there's the mountain. Let's go to 28. And holy cow. Okay, let me drop it down. Yeah. So let's first, I'm going to tap to focus on the irrigation out there in the distance. That should look pretty cool. Now let's pick the camera up a little bit and look at the mountains. That brings us up close and personal, doesn't it? One more time brings us back out to 1 by, and then you get that the real sight of how it looks. So let's turn around here. I'm getting RC signal interference. We're a ways away, but let's bring this guy back towards us, and I'm pointed right at the drone with the controller. So let's bring it forward, and I'm going to drop that camera down a little bit, and we're going to drop some altitude here. We're going to go down, down, down into the river, and I'm going to walk closer to the edge of the canyon so that I get that direct line of sight on the drone. And I'm holding the antenna, and we're minus 30 meters already. I'm holding the antenna right on the drone. So let's get down here and take a look at the rapids here in this one spot. This is kind of one of my favorite spots to film. Yeah, so we're down. Shoot, we can get low, man. We are 100 meters negative altitude. 110 meters negative altitude right now. And with the combination Pro in this drone, it is just phenomenal. Okay, I'm going to go into cine mode here for a second. We're going to slow it down and see if I can just get right over these rapids. And we got, you know, they've turned up the water coming down the river here a little bit. We've got a heck of a snowpack here, as kind of everybody does. Let's drop down a little bit more. We can get a little lower. Yeah, I was pulling down on the downstick, and it doesn't seem like... Yeah, you know what? There may be some kind of limit, because it's not letting me go any lower than that. So that's interesting. We may have reached the limit. So here we are over those rapids, and I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to pull straight down on the left stick. Well, no, it's coming down some more. I tried that earlier, and it wasn't coming down. So I don't know. Yeah, okay. So I don't know what I was missing there, but I wanted to get you a good look at these rapids. In fact, let's just do kind of a quick yaw around. And that road, you see, there's actually a restroom there. That's maintained by the BLM, and yeah, people come down here and fish, etc. In fact, the guy that I was talking to earlier that was up here was looking for sturgeon. I guess he fishes for sturgeon, and anybody that knows what sturgeon are, it's an ancient, kind of a prehistoric fish, and they get huge. They get giant. Picking up that camera a little bit more. And you can see we're getting down to 36% on the battery. We've been recording for, not quite 18 minutes now. And we started our flight at 90% battery. So I'm saying that's pretty good. And I spent a good portion of the time at full throttle. So let's come back downriver here. Going downriver now. This is just fantastic. This is why I love flying drones. I love this kind of exploration. It's so cool to see the Snake River so high right now as well. So we're down negative 130 meters, and we're almost to when the drone is going to put itself into return to home. And we'll let it do that when it does. Let me go back into normal mode. Whoop, I put it in sport mode. We're back in normal mode. Yeah, normal mode now. Sorry about that. I slipped on that. Yeah, and it's going to tell us low battery return to home. And what you're going to see is the drone. People always say, okay, will the drone, will it rise up at negative altitude? And look at it, it sure does. It knows where its home point is. I saw a guy with a video the other day talking about, you know, will the drone rise to its positive return to home altitude when you're in negative altitude. And yeah, I've shown that many times, and we're going to show it again here. Now, what's going to be fun this time is to see the drone come over the top of the canyon here, and it will. And the other cool thing about this drone is you're not, with the obstacle avoidance that you have, and I'm going to drop the camera here so we get a little better view of the river. With obstacle avoidance, you're not worried about it running into the side of the canyon or anything like that. So here she comes, and it's got a ways to go. And it is, in fact, it's in positive altitude right now at about 11 meters per second. So it's going to take it a little bit to get home here. But that answers your question with regard to will the drone go back to its return to home height. And what it doesn't do is it doesn't go any higher than it has to. So you see it kind of holding there at 16 meters height. That's part of that advanced return to home that, that DJI gives us. So you can see the end of the road there. That's we're just a little bit past the end of the road. The BLM maintains that road up to that point, and then it's just a walking trail after that. Oh, I just realized I started, before I got to dedication point, I started telling you people about the canyon, that maybe somebody that hasn't seen any of my videos before. So the Snake River Canyon was created by a massive flood about 17,400 years ago. There was an earthen dam called the Bonneville Dam over by the Idaho-Utah border that broke, and I've got another manned aircraft, but he is way to the south of me, or to the west of me, and I've got eyes on him. But anyway, the dam eventually gave way and it just emptied a huge, well, Bonneville Lake, emptied it into the Snake River Plain. Thus, you have the Snake River Canyon, and there's some huge boulders that it brought down with it. So you can see these layers, these different volcanic layers, when you look at the side of the canyon. I know there's a lot of columnar lava flows and so forth that you can see on the side of the canyon. So if I was a geologist, I could tell you, I know, you know, basalt, etc. That comes from volcanic rock. But anyway, just a little bit of a background about what that is. And you can see us there, and it looks like it's heading right for the side of the canyon, doesn't it? Well, you know what? It's not gonna. And I can, there's the drone, man. This is pretty cool. And even if it was gonna go into the side of the canyon there, it wouldn't. What a beautiful sight to see that drone coming back here. And yeah, let me drop that camera down as we're coming. Look back at the screen here, and we'll see. That's me dropping the camera down. We'll see how close we get to a precision landing here. So the camera is looking straight down, and I won't let it land in the dirt. If it looks like it's going to land in the dirt, we'll hit that pause button. Let's see. Yeah, I hit the pause button, so I don't know what happened there. We got some wind coming up here. I'm going into cine mode. Move it forward just a little bit. Low battery, return to home promptly, it says. It's really squawking at me, even though we're still at 15%. But yeah, there we are. Let's bring it over just a little. We got, the wind really came up here. Trying to bring it over. It's tough, man. It's moving around. Trying to hit that pad. Okay, straight down on the stick. So we're a little off the pad. And I kind of cross-coupled there and rotated the drone a little bit. But we're on the ground. Let me get everything shut down and we'll do a quick conclusion. So I also want to mention, on this drone, I don't think you'd lose a file if you forgot to stop recording before you shut off the drone, but you might want to remember to do that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the screen recording here. Hold the button down, hit record, and I'll hear that on the RC Pro. It stopped and it'll save that screen recording. We're at 13% battery in that flight, and I didn't see how long we flew, but anyway, let me get it all shut down. Hey, okay, the DJI Mavic 3 Pro. This was our very first flight. First time I had it up in the air. You guys saw it right here, and it performed flawlessly. Oh, if only all drones performed like this, life would be really good. Yeah, so I didn't do any kind of calibrations. It was right out of the box. Last time this drone was fired up, it was probably in China, I suspect. That's the kind of goodness that DJI brings to us, and you know, everything worked as it should. You saw the return to home from negative altitude. We did a couple demonstrations of those 3 cameras on the front, the regular wide-angle camera, the 3x telephoto, and the 7x telephoto. And then when we cropped into 14 and 28, that was on the 7x telephoto lens, and it's just cropping in on the sensor, so it's not going to be quite as good. Thank you, Lauren, for reminding me to tap to focus, and so those should look pretty good. I'm anxious to see how it looks off the SD card. So yeah, then we got down low in the canyon and got to see some stuff down low. I think that's pretty darn cool. We got like 120 meters negative altitude into the canyon, and as soon as it went into low battery return to home, it immediately started rising up and came to, I think it came to about, I thought it was about 16 meters positive altitude or so. Came over the side of the canyon and landed. Great flight. You know, I always said about the Mavic 3 that it was the best drone that I ever owned, bar none. Well, now that title goes to the Mavic 3 Pro. This is just a stunning piece of technology, and I can't wait to do some more stuff with it. So anyway, I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out, and if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I appreciate you taking the time to look at this video, and of course, we will see you on the next one. Bye now.